let's talk about some controversy. Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 controversial movies that I love. Yes, I'll be doing a two-parter for this. I'll be doing my top 10 controversial movies that I love, and then my next video I'll be doing top 10 controversial movies that I hate. Controversy is a thing that has existed in cinema since cinema has been a thing and stuff. And way back until like 1915 when the movie The Birth of the Nation came out and like people were boycotting it and rioting that movie. Like, that was insane stuff. And movies like documentaries like Triumph of the Will and just, you know, a lot of movies have always had controversy. Movies itself has had controversy and had people talking and stuff. And sometimes controversy can really hurt a film. It can ruin it making money and sometimes critically and stuff, and just it really shapes a lot of people's opinions in a very negative way. But this one I'm going to be talking very positive, because sometimes controversy is just absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes it's very needed, sometimes it's absolutely absurd. And a lot of these movies have a lot of controversy, but I don't agree with the controversy whatsoever, and it really doesn't shape my opinion on how great these films are. The other films that we talk about, I understand why they have controversy, and they're just fucking terrible films. But anyways, these are the controversial films that I love. So yeah, let's get to it. Here are the top 10 controversial films that I love. And as always, before our top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Martyrs, Argo, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Borat, Full Metal Jacket, Battle Royale, and A Clockwork Orange. Yes. Everyone's going to hate me for not putting that on the top 10 list, but yeah, I love it. It's a good movie, but no. Just go with the top 10 list. And yes, believe it or not, all those movies had a lot of controversy. But yeah, just go with the top 10 list, but it didn't make my top 10. It was my number 10. My number 10 is the Oscar-winning movie, The Deer Hunter. The Deer Hunter is, so incredible, so incredible. I'm like speechless because it's so good. But, this movie had a lot of controversy with, like, you know, the Russian roulette scene being very gratuitous, very violent and stuff, especially during this time period when it came out in the 1970s and stuff. All stuff with, like, you know, Vietnam and everything. It was very controversial when this movie came out, but that didn't matter. A lot of people saw it, and it won the Academy Awards. It won the Best Picture. Christopher Walken won Supporting Actor. De Niro probably should have won Lead Actor. Meryl Streep may have won Supporting Actress, but maybe she was just a fresh starter, I guess. But anyways, I love this movie. I think it's a great film. It's very horrific, especially what De Niro and Christopher Walken go through in this movie and stuff. It's sad, it's tragic, it's raw, it's gritty. It's just such a captivating film. And yeah, of all the great war films, this one was easily one of the most controversial films, and I think it's absolutely excellent. And yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. Coming in number 9 is American History X. You can assume why this movie was very controversial. It's about white supremacists, like, very controversial subject, very rough subject matter, because, again, there was a lot of racism back then, there's still, to this day, a lot of racism and everything, so it's a very touchy subject, especially how you execute it. But this movie executed very well, but it was also very controversial for being very raw and very violent, especially like some of the prison sequences and stuff. But honestly, there are films out there that have done it way worse. So I don't really fully understand the controversy for this film, but I guess I sort of get it. But this is a great film. I think Edward Norton gives his best performance of his entire career in this film. His arc throughout the whole film is one of the best character arcs in film. And Edward Furlong is really great. Everyone's really great. Some of the conversations they have about society is so fascinating, and it's so. Some people are just so thick-headed and just don't really understand the politics of society and everything, especially these, like, skinheads in these movies, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But, again, they're just very confused people, especially a character like Edward Norton. He was just a very confused and just sad and lonely and depressed person, and he was just upset that his dad got killed, so he just, like, rebelled and became a white supremacist, but really he's still, deep down, a very good and very smart person. I absolutely love this film. I think it's a very well-directed film, an extremely powerful, well-acted film, and yeah, out of controversial movies go, this is one of the best. Coming in number 8 is Kinsey. Kinsey is directed by Bill Condon. I talked about this when I did my Liam Neeson video, so I won't talk too much about it, but this movie was very controversial for being very sexual. This is a very graphic film. Again, I understand some of the controversy, but the movie's literally about sex education. It's about the study of sex, so, like, I don't understand the controversy, but there was a lot of controversy when this movie came out, but, like, I don't get it. It's literally about sex, so, like, don't go see it. It's just, like, simple as that. Like, if it's a movie, like, if you're going to a movie like Wonder Woman, and there's a lot of, like, graphic nudity, then, yeah, okay, it's a little odd. I understand some of that controversy, but this is literally a movie about sex, so I don't get the controversy, but the movie's great. It's really great. Liam Neeson, Lauren Linney, Peter Skarsgård, everyone's fantastic. It's a very smart, very intellectual, very educational movie that teaches you a lot. There's a lot of things I didn't know about sex and the human body and orgasms and stuff. Like, this movie teaches you a lot of crazy shit, and it's pretty interesting, and it's pretty damn great. Coming in number 7 is Straw Dogs. Straw Dogs, I get for the time this came out. This was like early 1970s. Very heavy film. Like, this has a very long rape sequence and stuff, and especially what happens after the rape sequence, and there's like this whole home invasion scene in the third act where a lot of the bad guys die in very gruesome ways. Like, I understand the controversy, especially for the time period this movie came out in. It was like banned all throughout the UK, this movie. This movie was really like, people were very angry with this film, and understandable, but now it feels very dated to be angry about stuff like that now, because it's just the shit they put in movies and television shows, like, it's like nothing now. But this is a great film. This is easily in my, like, top 5 favorite Dustin Hoffman movies. I think he's so great in this movie. I think this movie really pushes the boundaries of telling a very psychological thriller, especially living in this town with all these weird people. It's kind of like a cliche of, like, weird small town people, but sometimes they're not way off. I lived in a small town once in my life, and yeah, small town people can be a little weird sometimes, and this pushes the boundaries of weird, though. Like, these people are fucking psychotic, but great movie, great performances, and yeah, very controversial for a good reason for its time, but that feels just dated. The movie just itself is just a really good psychological thriller, and yeah, great film. Coming in number 6 is Melkonya. Melkonya. Actually, I have no idea why this movie's controversial. I didn't look it up why it was controversial. I just looked up a list of controversial films. And I just scrolled down and see, oh, I like that film. I like that film. I like that film. I like that film. Melkonya was just one of them. I love Melkonya, and this is just, I really wanted to talk about this one because I don't like Lars von Trier, and he makes that just, I'm assuming that's why it's controversial. Lars von Trier. Any movie he makes is controversial. The shit that guy makes, it's weird. I don't like his movies, though. I'm not a fan. I'll be talking about a couple of his films in my next list. I just don't like his films. I don't like his weird style of filmmaking. I don't like how gratuitous he makes his films. And just, I get it, he's a weird guy. Just, I don't like his films, but this one I enjoyed. This one was cool. This one was creative. The cinematography was gorgeous. Kirsten Dunst is fantastic. I think it's so thought-provoking, especially how they do, like, the end of the world kind of thing, all taking place during this wedding and everything. It's really cool. It says a lot about relationships, weddings, ceremonies, and, again, about our planet and our Earth and stuff. And it's very deep and very profound, kind of like Tree of Life. I really liked Tree of Life as well. I think that was a good movie. And again, I don't like all those, like, I don't like a shit ton of abstract films, but this one was really good, very creative, and very smart, and the only Lars von Trier film I've ever liked. So yeah, has that going for it. Coming in number 5 is Life of Brian. Monty Python's Life of Brian. I love this frickin' film. Yes, life's a pile of shit when you look at it. Always look on the bright side of life. Oh god. Well, okay. When it comes to Monty Python, very controversial. The only one that wasn't too controversial was The Holy Grail. But this one was the most controversial. The Meaning of Life, I think, was controversial too, because of the shit they tackle on that one. Very controversial subjects. This one was really, just because especially, like, religious people and stuff. Like, oh, there was a guy who was born on the same day as Jesus Christ, and they think he's like Jesus Christ and everything. And, yeah, just this stuff they talk about in the movie, very touchy and stuff. I think this movie would have been hilarious. Even more funny, probably, if it came out nowadays and stuff, because a lot of people now are just, you know, agnostic or atheists and stuff, but back then religion was much stronger, and so people found it like, ooh, don't knock religion and stuff. Like, and the movie's not really knocking religion. It's just, it's a little satire, not just on some things in the Bible and stuff, but just even like some movies and stuff they satirize a little bit too. It's mostly the tone and the themes of the Bible, not literally the Bible itself. But I think this movie's hilarious. I think this is like top 20 greatest comedies. This movie makes me laugh every single goddamn time. I love the whole Monty Python group. I love Terry Gilliam, Terry Jones, Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Eric Idle. All of them are just so good and so funny, and just I love this film. Coming in number 4 is Taxi Driver. Yeah, you looking at me? Talking to me? Talking to me? So good. Yeah, I got that Funko Pop right there of Travis Bickle. I love this movie. I love this movie. If Goodfellas and Raging Bull didn't exist, this might be my favorite Scorsese film. This and The Departed. Like, Scorsese is just he's just such a craftsman. He's just the way he crafts his films and structures them is just genius. He even has a cameo in this movie. It's so good, so funny. This movie was controversial in 1976 for being very, very violent and very, very vulgar and just a film that just didn't give a shit and had like prostitution of like young kids and stuff. Very touchy for 1976, but even though people didn't want to go see it, people still did, and this movie was nominated for multiple Academy Awards. I feel like if it didn't have that controversy, maybe De Niro would have won Best Actor, but it did have that controversy, which sucks, but I think this movie is a classic. I think it's timeless, and it gets better and better the more times you watch it, and yeah, I fucking love it. Coming in number 3 is Midnight Cowboy. Yes, only the shadows of my mind. Yes, this is the only NC-17 movie to win Best Picture at the Oscars in 1969 against True Grit, which I agree with. This is a better movie than True Grit, and True Grit's a great film, but this movie's amazing. Dustin Hoffman, John Voight are both fantastic. It's about male prostitution. That alone, that's why it's controversial and stuff. It's very raw, it's very gritty, it's extremely depressing, but it just works. It works so well, and I absolutely love it. Coming in number 2 is The Exorcist. The Exorcist is considered one of the scariest films of all time, and I still agree. I concur on that one because this one scarred me as a kid. Maybe not as much now, but it's still haunting. It's terrifying. Like, this movie was so terrifying. Like, there's, like, people from the church, like the Vatican, that wanted this movie banned from theaters. When this movie came out, people are so scared. People are passing out in theaters and stuff. Like, it was almost like a medical thing. Like, it was a medical emergency, like, seeing this movie and stuff. That's why it was super controversial. And even some of the stuff they did on set of the film was very controversial. Like, it put people's lives in danger, but that's William Fricken for you, and William Fricken's direction's beautiful. And William Peter Blatty's writing is genius. It's based off his novel. And Jason Ritter, Max von Sydow, Ellen Bernstein, Linda Blair all give amazing performances. It's so creepy. The music's fantastic. The effects are fantastic. The sound is fantastic. This movie is just one of the greatest horror films ever, and yeah, love it. And the number 1 controversial movie that I love is Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick. I know everyone's like, oh, where's the Clockwork Orange? Oh, what about Full Metal Jacket or something like that. Eyes Wide Shut is one of my favorite Kubrick films. It's an unpopular opinion. 2001 is my favorite, but then Eyes Wide Shut. I love Eyes Wide Shut. I love the themes of relationships and with these weird cults and stuff and staying committed to someone, and also the karma of what would happen to you if you're unfaithful to your partner and stuff. It's a very interesting story, and it's so thought-provoking and so profound, this movie, and the music is genius. The cinematography, the entire atmosphere is just so great. Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, Sidney Pollack are all fantastic. This movie is some people call it artsy porn. I do not. There's another movie I'm going to be talking about in my other list. That's artsy porn. This is a terrific, deep, smart film that I absolutely love, and yeah, I think it's one of the best controversial films out there. So that was my top 10 controversial movies that I love. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this top 10 list? If not, give me guys top 10 favorite controversial movies that you love. Comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and join the dark side.